Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Come enjoy yourselves at the annual Christmas fundraiser for A Legacy Home Christmas. Take part in giving a child a very Merry Christmas and a second chance at life. December 14th at 6:30 p.m. with dinner and live entertainment at Vermeer Global Pavilion in Pella. RSVP individually or host a table of 8. Contact 641-232-0049 or use the email on the screen. Music features Christian recording artist Todd Agnew. A Legacy Home Christmas fundraiser December 14th, 6:30 p.m. at the Vermeer Global Pavilion in Pella. The Watch Your Opera House in Watch Your, Iowa is having an Opera House Christmas on Saturday, December 7th at 7 p.m. with Peggy Wardenberg of Williamsburg and Marina Springer of Oskaloosa. Peggy will be singing some golden oldies along with a mix of Christmas songs, and Marina will be singing some favorite Christmas classics along with some original holiday songs. It's all for a free will donation. Get more info at watchyyouroperahouse.org or on the Watch Your Opera House Facebook page. It's an Opera House Christmas this Saturday at 7 p.m.
Hi, this is Stacy with Shuttler Insurance Services on the east side of the square in Sigourney. I'd like to invite you to my open house this Thursday, December 5th. KCED will hold a ribbon cutting at 3:45, followed by an open house until 7 p.m. Come for snacks, sign up for prizes, check out the office, and learn more about Shuttler Insurance Services, providing the coverage you need with the care you deserve. Hope to see you this Thursday from 4 to 7.
Friends of the Sigourney Library Tour of Homes is this Sunday, December 8th from 1 to 5 p.m. Tour festively decorated homes decked out for the holidays. Stop by the Sigourney Public Library from noon to 4 p.m. for a hot drink and a sweet treat, included with ticket purchase. Let's eat, drink, and be merry. Tickets are $15 each or 2 for $25 and may be pre-purchased at the Sigourney Library or on the day of the event. It's the Friends of the Sigourney Library Tour of Homes this Sunday from 1 to 5. Shop Sigourney TV and Appliance at 103 East Marion on the south side of the square in Sigourney for brands like Whirlpool, Speed Queen, Samsung, and Dish. Sigourney TV and Appliance offers sales and service on appliances and TVs. They invite you to shop and compare. Stop in on the south side of the square in Sigourney and visit with the owner, Gary Cruz, or call 641-622-2511. That's Sigourney TV and Appliance. Aesthetics by Lily is located in Stella's Salon and Boutique in Oskaloosa. Lily offers facials, dermaplaning, lash services, brow services, and facial waxing. She's also a certified acne specialist. Aesthetics by Lily is located inside Stella's Salon at 1211 A Avenue East, Oskaloosa. Schedule an appointment by calling 641-790-0357. You can also find Aesthetics by Lily on Facebook. For beauty, cosmetic, and personal care, see Aesthetics by Lily in Oskaloosa. Mahaska Chamber and Development Group and Oskaloosa Main Street invite you to come to Oskaloosa this week. The Young Ambassador Contest is December 2nd with the ceremony at 6 p.m. at Penn Central Mall. And the main event is Twinkling Christmas, the Lighted Christmas Parade, this Saturday at 7 p.m. Come enjoy the one-of-a-kind Lighted Christmas Parade in downtown Oskaloosa, where floats are lit with over 1 million lights. Get in the spirit of Christmas. With the theme Twinkling Christmas, events are happening in Oskaloosa all week long. Shop Jen Miracle, located at 119 South Market on the square in Oskaloosa. Open Monday through Saturday. Shop Jen Miracle is a women's clothing boutique where you're welcomed with a smile while you shop for clothing, accessories, home items, and lots of stocking stuffers for this holiday season. Shop Jen Miracle strives to have the best prices. Everything is under $50. Find Shop Jen Miracle on Facebook for more information. Shop Jen Miracle in Oskaloosa, attainable style under $50. Aaron, I'm going to force choke you. You ready? Hi, Aaron. Hey, it's time for Real Talk.
Hey,
Star
how are you,
Wars?
Steve?
I think we're in a Star Wars mood
Yeah,
today.
we're in a Star Wars mood today. I think you're a little bit of a bigger fan than I am.
Fans say you.
Yes,
Ooza.
it is clear. It is clear that you are a bigger fan than me.
I can do some impressions, but
I can do a pretty good Wookiee if I let myself build up some phlegm in the back of the throat. To like,
Fleming.
"Oh." Yeah. See, right now my throat is dry, so I'm like, but we'll move on from the I will move on from the impressions. You are free to spend a whole show in character.
I might throw some in every once in a while.
But there is a point to this. But you've loved Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see any of the originals in the theater?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I grew up. That was my childhood with Star Wars.
Did you see the first one in the theater?
I mean, I would have been, I don't know what year that was. I would have been like 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm assuming I saw it in theaters.
Okay. Wow. It came out. The first one came out in '77, right?
Yeah.
So I was 1 year old, and I did not see many movies. But I was in first grade when the Return of the Jedi came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I did not see that for another 10 years. But all of the kids at school had Return of the Jedi toys.
Sure.
And they looked so cool.
Yeah.
They looked and there was this kid named Jeremy Pasheni.
Oh, Jeremy.
Jeremy, if you're out there, I'm not still jealous of you, buddy, but Jeremy had one of the speeders, the land speeders.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And apparently there was like a button
I've
on it.
got one in my attic. If you want to play with
you
it.
push a button and it like explodes.
I have a TIE fighter that explodes.
Okay, well, Jeremy had a speeder that would explode, probably spring-loaded and breaks into 3 parts or something, and the stormtrooper goes flying off, and I didn't know what Star Wars was, but I wanted one of those so bad. That was so cool, and my family didn't watch many movies, and we didn't get caught up in cultural things like Star Wars. My parents were like Jesus hippie peaceniks from the 70s, so we didn't do a whole lot of anything that had to do with wars.
All right.
Let alone Star
Wars. Yeah. Death Star.
Yeah, that was kind of out of bounds for us. So, but it's been a big part of your life. And okay, so like now I've seen most of the movies. I did not go past episode 7.
Okay.
But I've seen all the prequels and. So
And I'll apologize for Jar Jar Binks on behalf of Star Wars fans everywhere.
You inflicted that on the world of cinema. How dare you? But you also gave us what's the one that comes right between episodes 3 and 4? It was like the standalone where they steal the plans.
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Excellent movie.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Rogue One. So,
yes.
Hey, whether or not you're a Star Wars fan, I woke up today thinking about a disturbance in the Force.
Yeah.
Who actually says that? Is that Darth Vader that talks about, or is it
Could be Obi-Wan. Could be Yoda. I'm not positive.
I sense a disturbance in the Force. It's Obi-Wan, right? When the Death Star blows up the first planet.
Yeah, because he has to sit down. Oh, I feel like a million souls have cried out.
There's a planet covered by a city, and there were only 1 million people in it. Or maybe he only sensed 1 million souls.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't want to be too dramatic. We're not picking
I
apart.
could be wrong.
Episode 4, it's a great movie. Quit criticizing it, man. Why don't you go make a better movie?
Yeah.
But no, there's one of the powerful things about those movies is they come up with those lines, right? I sense a disturbance in the Force. And I think sometimes just we're going through daily life and we get a disturbance in our heart, or something rattles us and takes away our joy.
Killjoys.
Yeah, killjoys. And you knew we were coming around to joy today, because joy is the emotional response that we all have if we're with people that we know are happy to see us. So somebody who always yells at you at work, probably not someone that brings you joy. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this. This is kind of wild. I don't believe that two people who are in love ever fall out of love. Because love, this is weird, but I don't think love is a feeling. But joy is the feeling that we get that when we treat each other with love. So people don't fall out of love. They fall out of joy when they stop treating each other as if they're happy to see each other. So I call that a disturbance in the force. And we're gonna talk about a topic today for those of you who've got your Bibles handy, or go grab your Bible later today and check out Matthew chapter 24 verses 9 through 12. And here is a place where Jesus talks about people being offended, and that's kind of a thing these days, isn't it? Like culturally.
Being offended?
Being offended. Everybody wants to be offended.
Yes.
And some people are offended at how offended other people are. And now I'm offended at the people who are offended by other people being offended.
And you are now canceled.
And now I'm canceled. Yeah. I triggered you, and now I'm canceled. And I'm offended that I'm canceled. And I'm even offended that you were triggered. But speaking of the word triggered.
Hi-oh! Oh, no, it's Hi-oh Silver.
This is an interesting one, because in Matthew chapter 24, when Jesus uses the word that in English we say offended, the Greek word is kind of nifty. Disclaimer, not a Greek scholar. I know of like 3 Greek words, but you could look this up on the internet, and I think you could verify this. The Greek word is something like scandalon. Ooh. Oh, what English word does that sound like? Scandal. So when you feel scandalized, and we like, it's so easy to feel that, right? And a sign that I feel scandalized is when I say or feel like saying something like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Can you believe?" Insert the name of your favorite person to be offended by. Being offended by Donald Trump is pretty popular these days.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just can't believe what he said. And it's pretty popular amongst other people to be offended by the most recent thing that Kamala Harris said, right? Like, oh my gosh, can you believe, or Joe Biden or whatever. Can you believe, Steve, how many people out there actually like the Ohio State Buckeyes?
That's offensive.
That's...
Or Alabama fans. Totally offensive.
Yeah. So we can be offended by sports or politics or, who's sneaking around in our small town community doing bad things that everybody disapproves of.
Yeah. Insert shock.
Yeah.
Scandal.
So the end game, I'm not going to read that whole passage, but what happens when people are scandalized? Oh, and speaking of triggers, that's where we were going with this whole thing. The word scandalon in Greek actually refers to the trigger of a trap, like an animal hunting trap.
Okay.
So to be offended is to be scandalized. To be scandalized, like, literally means to be triggered. I can't believe the awful thing that they did. And now maybe we should adjust a little bit and say sometimes we get scandalized by really petty things. I mean, like, I'm so offended that politician didn't keep his word.
That's what they do. They don't keep their word.
You're pretending to be surprised? This is shocking. How?
People were shocked when the Mike Tyson fight on Netflix was kind of a scam. But it was free, so who cares?
It was free if you could stream it.
Yeah.
I was that was one of those nights when I was having a hard time sleeping, so I was up at like 12:30 or almost 1 o'clock and trying to watch it, and there were still so many people trying to watch it. So I came back in the morning and I clicked on the internet, and the first thing that came up was Jake Paul defeats Mike Tyson.
Spoiler. Scandal.
Okay. Yeah, and then I was totally offended by the internet for spoiling something. We have a point here.
I'm relying on you to get us back on track.
Could you do some Darth Vader breathing for a moment?
I was going to say that Scandalon sounds like a character from Star Wars.
It kind of does.
The Scandalons.
Darth Scandalon. So he would definitely be a Sith.
Yes, Sith Lord.
Yeah.
A Fifth Lord. All right. Enough. Quit it. Get us back on track, Aaron. Reel us back in.
Right when we were trying to get back on track. Okay. Fifth Lord side.
Scandalon.
I'm scandalized and offended that you would even talk like that, Steve. So what Jesus teaches us is that when we feel scandalized, there's a road that predictably follows from that. Hatred, betrayal, like there's strong words. That is the path that we're setting up for when we don't step back from being offended. And when hatred and betrayal start to take root in us, the next thing that happens is false prophets come along. And when if your heart is set on Christ and your heart is set on loving people and laying down your own life to bring the gospel to other people and to help other people, you don't have time for scandal. You don't have time for that. But when you're caught up in scandalous kind of thinking, then you become susceptible to weird stuff that false prophets might bring in. And by false prophets, I don't mean some guy in church who's like, prophesying, thus saith the Lord, thou shalt give me $1,000. Like, it's not just all about that, but any kind of voice in culture that would grab a hold of your heart and lead you away from Christ, okay? So false prophecy suddenly becomes attractive if I haven't dealt with the offense in my own heart. And then the end game of false prophets is that people fall away from their faith, and because of the increase of lawlessness, the love of many will grow cold. So we're talking about a serious issue here. As goofy as we get sometimes, all the time, most of the time, as goofy as we get, this is really serious. Scandal and offended feelings create a disturbance in the force. And that's where we've been going this whole time. Mm-hmm. Right there. That was the money line. So we've got to learn how to take steps to ruthlessly weed offense out of our lives. Jesus said offense is bound to come. He knew that these things would happen. People would hurt us. Leaders would do foolish things. Politicians would break their promises. Jesus knew that these occasions would come, but he said, woe to those by whom they come. And then he warns us, you got to dig that feeling out of your heart and stay on track with loving people. And then love, as we've discussed many times recently, love is where we come together in relationships, and relationships are where joy is found. And like the whole thing that puts Anakin Skywalker on his downhill slope to becoming Darth Vader is his forbidden love. And how foolish of the Jedi to forbid love. Because, shouldn't the light side of the Force thrive on love? So there might be something in the canon that I just don't have time to go figure out. But also, Steve, Anakin could have left the Jedi. Like he could have chosen love over power and influence and being part of a cool club and hanging out with Mace Windu, which.
Purple lightsaber and everything.
I mean, Sam Jackson is probably the coolest guy in the world. Maybe. But instead of choosing love, Anakin chose to be offended, and then the Emperor, came as a false prophet, and the rest is history.
My little green friend.
Yeah.
Envision lightning bolts coming out of my fingers.
Yeah, I'm totally envisioning that. And what is it? What is it that redeems Anakin at the very end? It's when Luke says, "I'm not gonna kill you. You're my father, and I love you," and that reestablishes the joy connection in their heart. And then Darth Vader picks the Emperor up and throws him down that whatever that thing is.
Chasm.
The chasm, the pit of despair.
No.
Okay, we better wrap up. It's gotten real dumb on Real Talk here. But seriously, keep seeking joy. Keep leaning into relationships instead of pulling away from relationships. Ruthlessly weed offense out of your heart. And hey, if you're looking for a church in the Wellman area, if you're kind of in a 20 or 30 mile radius and you need a place to worship and you need some friends, our motto at New Life is God, friends, and fun. And we take fun very seriously.
They do.
As you can see from this show.
Yes.
And we'll be having a big Christmas feast the Sunday before Christmas, so you can come out and join us for that. We'll keep you updated about that as the day gets closer. We will have turkey and ham at that event. So and we may even see if we can get Steve to come sing on the praise band for Christmas.
Just keep the cranberry sauce away from me.
If you come sing, I promise that we will not make you eat any cranberries. And with that, we'll say over and out. Great to have you all with us. We'll see you around soon.